what is a bodybuilder to you?
A bodybuilder is someone who doesn't only come to the gym and train. It's a lifestyle, which means that it's a daily habit
Okay.
in terms of training and also in terms of nutrition. So, and then there's the competition. That's the last part, I would say, of being a bodybuilder. Yeah.
Yes. And was there a point in your life when you started identifying yourself as a bodybuilder?
That's a good question, actually, because not really, because I was just going to the gym. I was not thinking about being a professional bodybuilder. I was just going to the gym, enjoying training, and things just started to build step by step. And I was taking just one day after one, and things just happen, I would say, in the long term, and that's it.
So there's no like a very specific event when you say from here, I identify myself as a bodybuilding. It's more like a progression that happens with time.
Well, when I started to compete, of course, I know that the term was to be like I was a bodybuilder when I was competing, but I don't see myself as a bodybuilder. I was seeing myself as the person I am today. I was just competing, and that's it. And
Yeah.
the big difference between today and when I was competing, that's the competition part. And but I'm still the same person, so I don't really see myself as a bodybuilder. Yeah.
Okay, that's very, very interesting. And now that we're talking already about bodybuilding and when you became a bodybuilding, that you actually don't identify with a bodybuilder because you are Nicolas, nor not Nicolas the bodybuilder. You're more than that. What I wanted to ask you is, what do you think is the highlight of your career? Like, what was the moment in your bodybuilding career where when you said, "This is my number one moment"?
I did one competition in 2018, so that was my last year as actually as a athlete, and I did a competition in Portugal. That was not even the Olympia. That was before, and I finished at the second place. But I was competing with a really famous guy. His name was Hadi Chupan. He was from Iran. And a few years later, he won the Olympia, actually. So that's one of the best bodybuilder in the history. And that day, I thought I was not able to compete with him, but that was actually a very tight competition because I finished second. He won the competition. And that day, I know that was my best physique ever. Yeah. So I think a lot of people remember the competition, and that's still a good memory for me. So, yeah.
That's very interesting because when I am not really a bodybuilder. I've gotten into the lifestyle at one point because I love health and nutrition and also the sport by itself. But when I looked at your career, at all the numbers and all the things, all the competitions where you've been, I would have thought that your top moment would be when you competed at Mr. Olympia.
Yeah.
But it was not that one. Why do you think you were in a better shape in Portugal than Mr. Olympia?
I think that's the context, because at that time I remember I was living in Switzerland, and I did my world preparation in Switzerland. So I had no stress outside of my bubble, I would say. So I was in my world. I had my habits. I was going to the gym. I knew the gym where I was going, so I had my habits. I was cooking. Everything was like fixed, settled, and that was probably easy for me because there was no stress.
Okay.
And when I did the Olympia, I had to travel, of course, because I went to Vegas, I went to Florida before, and that's stress, of course, and it plays a role on your physique. So obviously, Portugal was probably the best context I ever had when I was competing. Yeah.
Okay, so there's actually a huge impact on the way you feel on the stage, if you have to travel or not, even though it can take only one day.
Yeah, because I think the people who were lucky to travel, we all feel like tired when you're done with the travel, of course. And that's the same when you're an athlete. That's a lot of pressure. Your physique also is very sensitive. And so the condition can change very quickly with the stress. And I could see it when I was traveling. Even if I stayed a few weeks in Vegas, I was not in my home. So that was not my apartment, that was not my bed, that was not my fridge, that was not my gym. And even if you get used to it after a few days, you're not at home. So, and I think it plays a big role. For me, yeah, that was a big difference. Yeah.
Okay. And going back to the competition in Portugal, when you finished second place, what do you think that separated you from the first place?
I think when you're an amateur, there's not even a gap, but there's a hole between amateur and professional. And to be a good professional and to be in the top 5, top 10 in the world, there's another big gap. And I was not at this time. So, and he was just on another planet. So, and he was competing for like 20, 25 years. So he was way older than me at that time. So probably there was some parameters that make the difference.
Okay, so it has to do also a lot with time, the time
Yeah.
that you have to get there.
But bodybuilding is very different if you compare that sport with the others, because usually when you do football, when you do basketball, you play around maybe 30, 35, maybe 40 years old, and then you're done.
Yeah.
And actually 30, 35 is supposed to be like the best age in terms of sport for the bodybuilding. So you can do bodybuilding for 20, 25, 30 years and more. Depends on your health, of course, but it's very different if you compare with the other sport.
It's very similar in that regard to endurance sports, because when you do endurance sports, you build your aerobic base, what is called, the way you metabolize all the energy and produce it create it into movement. I see a lot of similarities there. And what impresses me the most of what you said is that you retired right at the moment where you were going to enter your prime time. And I want to ask you questions about that in a little bit. Yeah. But before we go there, I want to ask you a few more questions about the context of the bodybuilding, the sport, and what you lived when you were there. So when you went to Mr. Olympia after Portugal, and you also won Tampa, right?
Yeah.
Which is like a mini Mr. Olympia.
That was the toughest competition in the professional league at that time. Yes.
Yeah, that I learned a lot about this preparing for this interview, and I saw that they considered it like a pre-Mr. Olympia, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then when you got there and you saw all the other guys that were competing there, was it the way you imagined it, or how was that experience when you were there?
The thing is, this competition was very different because that was the last chance of the season to get the ticket for the Olympia. So if I was not able to win that show, I had to wait for the next year. So I had a huge pressure on my shoulders. And I know that everyone, because of the show in Portugal, everyone was expecting my win. So that was not like the Portugal, because when I came to the Portugal, I was just myself. Nobody really knew me. Yeah. So that was pretty easy, there's no pressure. But when I did the Tampa, I know that a lot of people were like pushing a lot and saying like, oh, he's going to win. So it's easy to say it, but when you have to do it, that's different. Yeah. So I had a lot of pressure, yeah.
Oh my God, I can totally imagine that there's a lot of pressure when you're in that world. And this is precisely why I want to ask you also if getting to that level is a choice, or is it more that you are born with the genetics?
Both.
To get there? It's both.
You cannot choose to be a professional bodybuilder. It's like playing basketball in the NBA or playing the Champions League in football. Yeah. That's just not possible. So you need to get the talent and the genetic, of course. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What are the things that you need to get in the genetics? What do you need to have to get to that point?
I think there's 3 genetics. There's the first one is the morphology. So the fact you have short bones, as myself, by the way. There's also, and it's not really genetic, but I would say the way you react. So I would say more the physiology, the way you react when you eat, the way you react with the training. And the last genetic that I didn't have was the health. To be able to support all the pressure that you have. Yes. The weight, because you're really heavy when you do bodybuilding. So, and that's not healthy for the heart, for all the organs. And that's also a big part of the success.
That's also something that I wanted to ask you. health, when you look at somebody that has all those muscles, I mean, I think this sport was originated by maybe the ideal of being strong or healthy, strong and healthy man. I think this is how it originated, but it has became something completely different. What do you think? Do you think this is well, you just said it before. You actually think this is a sport where you have to be careful with your health because it's not the healthiest sport in the world.
Well,
right?
I'm gonna give you an example. Very often, sometimes we can see the magazines, the papers. You can see healthy physiques, and sometimes you can see also people who are extremely fat, like obese.
Yeah.
In both situations, in my opinion, it's not healthy. So I don't like to promote this, to be honest. Even if you think visually you look better because you have muscle, people have to keep in mind that having muscle is also a way to bring pressure because your body weight increase, and that's the same impact as when you get fat. Mm-hmm. That's the same impact, and the heart has to support the pressure, and that's not something you can do in the long term. So you're gonna pay consequences later, of course. But again, it depends on your genetic if you're able to support it through the years or not. That's not something you can know when you start this sport.
Yeah.
So that's why you need to be careful. You need to do blood tests. You need to be followed by a doctor, by a professional. Yeah.
So when you get into this sport, that you start going to the extremes, the way you got, mm-hmm. or at the level where you got, there's a moment where you get to a certain point where you need a group of specialists that are around you that are helping you optimize all maybe the hormones and your nutrition, your training, the way you rest and recover, and all of these things. Mm-hmm. When you have all these things together, I mean, maybe I made a mistake and this is not necessary. Do you think it is?
No, it's necessary, but the problem with bodybuilding is that you're alone. There's no structure.
Yeah.
Which means that it's you who has to take the decision to be followed. It's you who has to find a person, a doctor, or a team that can help you for the sport. It's not like when you play for a football team, mm-hmm. where you have a structure included in the team.
Yeah.
Here you're alone, so that's your own decision, and that's maybe one of the biggest problems that we can see in bodybuilding. Is that most of the athletes don't take it seriously, and the other problem also is that there's a lot of negative ideas on bodybuilding, and also a lot of doctors or professionals don't want to be part of the process, if I can say.
Yeah, I actually read also online that it is not allowed to take steroids, for example, to mm-hmm. participate in like top level competitions, mm-hmm. but athletes are not really drug tested, right?
Depends on the federation.
Like IFBB, for example?
IFBB, it's slightly different because there's actually now two federations. It's NPC and IFBB.
Okay.
Before they were together, today they are separated. But I can talk for the NPC because I was competing at the NPC. The NPC is actually very clear. There's no drug test. Okay. So everyone is doing what they want. So, but everyone knows that everyone is taking something at that time. That's just the truth.
So what do you mean it's very clean, but everybody's taking something?
Clear, I would say.
Very
so
clear.
Everyone knows that it's part of the process, but and everyone is okay with that.
Yeah, and I mean I think this is when it gets a little bit when it gets a little bit complicated, because when you go into that area, that means that you can do whatever you want, mm-hmm. but as you said, you don't have the structure of a team, yeah. and you actually need to make sure that you're not going into an area where you are going to damage yourself. And I think it's difficult to do that if you don't have an education to be an expert on that. Mm. So how do you actually make sure that you don't go too far, that you actually harm yourself? You surround yourself with people that know how to do it?
Yeah. That's the first part. And that may sound crazy what I'm gonna say, but you need to be crazy a bit. And that's also the reason why I stopped. Because I'm too, in French we say Cartesian, like you think too much in a logic way. Mm-hmm. And that's also the reason why I started to stop, because there's a point where I just saw that that was going too far for myself, and that's also the reason, one of the main reason I stopped, because I saw that I'm going to get a wall, like running through the wall.
Yeah.
So, but obviously you need a team.
Yeah.
But even if you have a team and you do all the blood tests and you check your blood pressure and you do everything, you never know what can happen. You don't know when you're gonna die, you know?
Of course.
So obviously that's the same in this situation. You never know what can happen. You have no idea if you're gonna support all this pressure through the years or not. Some people, they do bodybuilding for 30, 35 years old, and I did just 7, 8 years at the highest level, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's life.
Yeah. And well, I want to ask you also questions about how fast you got to that level where you were at the highest level, but then you decided to leave. But first, before I ask you those questions, I wanted to go to the beginning, because for me, I mean, I've had periods where I train harder, and then you look at the results of your training. You start taking supplementation, you feel it, you start feeling good, and it's like a reinforcing cycle, right? That you do it more and more and more. But getting to that level where you start taking stuff, and when you start competing, and when you start seeing your body go to another level, it feels a bit scary to me. But I feel that when the people that do it, it's because they actually got to a point where it was worth doing it. And I want to understand that moment. I want to know how there was a point where you said, okay, I think it's worth going there, and I'm going to give it a try, and I'm going to start taking whatever I have to take to win. So what I want to do is I want to go first on what got you into bodybuilding, to get a sense of why you love the sport so much. How did you get into bodybuilding?
I was training in the gym, actually.
Yeah.
And I was just doing this for fun because
Okay.
I really like it. And I started to meet a few people who actually pushed me to do competition. And very quickly I met actually my coach, Patrick Tour, and I worked with him since day one until the end.
How did you meet your coach?
Actually, I was coached by a girl, and she was in touch with an athlete of Patrick Tour.
Okay.
My coach, the coach that I had. And I started to work with this athlete. He was doing the Olympia at that time.
Wow.
So that was the very first time I was seeing a real bodybuilder, professional bodybuilder.
And you were training with him?
Not training, but I saw him the first time in his gym, because he was training near from France. And I was like impressed, of course, because I saw the physique. Was like, wow, how can you be like this? That's crazy. And at the same time, I was, wow, I want to look the same.
Ah, really?
Yeah.
That's something that you found interesting.
Since day one, I was in love with bodybuilding. The way they were able to build so much muscle, and so that's why I really wanted to follow those steps. So, and that athlete was really nice to me, and he said, okay, let's try to do something. He gave me like a plan, a diet plan, and I started to do my homework. And after 3-4 months, he told me, okay, you need to see my coach. That was Patrick Tour. And then I met Patrick, and we started like doing things as a professional, even if I was still amateur, but we were doing like everything under control. And that's where I started to work with him. Okay. And then serious things really started at that time. Yeah.
How old were you?
I was 21, 22.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, getting exposed to a guy that is competing at Mr. Olympia, it's if you like the sport, I think it's so inspiring that it makes sense that you started getting into that.
I think at that I was young, but I was able to understand the amount of work that was necessary to look like this.
Yes.
And I really like the aesthetic way, even if for many people it's too much. For me, I was like, wow, that's beautiful, and that's why I wanted to follow the steps, you know. And
when you were this age, did you already believe that you probably had the physical traits to get to that point?
Absolutely no.
No,
I was doing this for fun because I really like it. I was playing soccer before, football.
How was your physique? Like, were you strong naturally, or were you thin?
I was thin, not fat at all. Never been fat in my life.
Yeah.
I was athletic, small, but I was running fast, and I was not bad when I was playing football. But I had an injury, and I had to stop. And when I started to play again, just lost the motivation.
What happened?
I broke my legs during a game.
Both of your legs?
One leg.
What happened?
During a game, someone just tackled my leg when I was playing, and he broke it.
Like your tibia, peroneus?
Yeah,
something
exactly.
Like that?
Yeah. Triple. Yeah.
Oh my God,
legs,
that's the worst thing that can happen to a football player.
Yeah, and at that time I was supposed to sign a contract with a semi-professional team, so I lost my contract.
Oh no.
And when I tried to come back, that was like 8-9 months of recovery. I just lost the will and the motivation. So I was looking for something that was giving me back this fire, and that's actually the gym who did this to me. So that's why when I started to train and have this idea to compete, I was like, yeah, that's really fun. I feel it's something hard to do, and I needed to do something like this. Yeah.
So you were actually targeting being a professional football player.
Yes. Yeah.
And then when you got your injury, instead of getting depressed because you couldn't go that way anymore, you saw a new opportunity in bodybuilding.
Yeah, because I really loved this, and I was not thinking about being a professional bodybuilder, but just the fact to say, oh, you need to do a competition, you need to diet, that was something hard, and I liked the idea to do something that people are not able to do. And so that's why I was really motivated by this spirit.
When you say that you like the idea of doing something that people can't normally do, is it like a way of achieving something that it seems impossible? Like
that's my probably ego part, but I like to be different on that side. Yeah.
But at the same time, you say that you're somebody that is very logical, and if you're logical, you need to have a target to be able to focus all your energy towards that target, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And did your target become actually competing then? For bodybuilding?
After my first show, yeah, because my first show, that was more like a try, just to see if I really like it, if the process was something I really liked, and
it was like a test.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, the first competition that I did, I finished at the last place. So, but I said I give myself a last chance to do another competition to see if I like it. If it's as hard as the first one, I don't do it. And the thing is, the second competition, I won the Swiss championship. So then I was like, okay, when you win something, that's easier to keep going.
Yeah.
So after that show, I never stopped. Yeah.
What changed that make you go from the last one to the first one in like a short amount of time, I guess, right?
Well, the difference was the first competition was actually the European Championship. And I was able to do it because my coach, Patrick, at that time was the Swiss team coach.
There's a Swiss bodybuilding team?
At that time, yes.
Okay.
So he selected me at that time. So I was a bit lucky because I didn't do all the real process that you're supposed to do to get there. But I finished last. So that was actually a good test because after the show, he said, I just wanted to see if you had the guts to support the diet, especially at a young age. And I never complained, not even once, even when I was tired. And I think he saw inside of me a potential that I was not able to see at that time.
The mental part.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I made the difference with my mental again. So that's the conversation that we had before. But that was a huge part. A lot of people have good genetics in bodybuilding, but when you get at the pro level, the huge difference that you're gonna make is with your brain, with your mental.
Yeah. It's like maybe like the fuel. If you don't have the fuel, you can have a nice car, but you can't go anywhere, right?
Exactly, that's the same.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. So how long did it take between the first competition where you got last until the one that you got first?
9 months.
9 months.
Yeah.
And during those 9 months, were you training like all the time?
Oh yeah, I was training. Yeah. I was. The thing is, I was sure. And I do very often the comparison with the Gym Elevate. I was sure about what I was doing. I don't know, something inside of me was telling me, like a little voice in my head was telling me, you do the right thing. Even if I finished last, I knew that was part of the process. So that's why I just kept doing it without really complaining or being sad because I didn't win the show. I was like, no, that's part of the process. That's not a failure, that's just part of the process. That was necessary to go through this. to understand that I have to work, and that's what happened.
And why do you think you had this voice? I mean, what was this voice driving you towards?
I have no idea. But today I have the same voice with the gym, with Elevate.
Like you are at the right place.
Yeah,
doing
and I
what you're
think
doing.
we do the right thing. It's hard. Sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes we have to work a lot. But I know that we are on the right direction. And that's, I have no idea. I cannot explain it. That's
Intuition.
something I have inside of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I trust my instinct. So
Do you like put the same amount of passion and effort into being an entrepreneur as you did it to bodybuilding?
for the gym, yes.
Yeah.
Because the passion that I had for being an athlete, I wanted to do the same as for the gym, you know. So it's just a different position.
So yeah, basically with Elevate Fitness, we're looking at the same Nicolas, but
Same mindset, I
Yeah,
would say.
same mindset expressing itself in a different way.
Yeah, working always.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So then, once you won the first competition, you kept going, and from what I saw, you were like going up really, really fast.
Yeah.
I mean, like every year you were doing like a major breakthrough, right?
Yeah, that was quick.
When you got all the way up to Mr. Olympia.
But the thing is, every season we were trying to settle a goal, and to be honest, after the first win for the Swiss Championship, always managed to reach the goal. I won every year a show, every year. So, because the first year I won the Swiss Championship, the year after I was in the top 6 European athletes, junior. The year after I won the overall in Switzerland and I was still a junior. And the year after I won my first international show. The year after I got my pro card, so I won in the USA. And the year after, I did the Portugal and the Olympia because I turned pro.
So you were like basically going on a
Yeah,
rocket.
that was something very regular, and I was lucky because I was able to do only one show, and that was giving me some time after the season just to recover, which is good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's something that I'm very interested to listen more about, is that you were having like a very, very quick progression in your career.
Too quick.
Yeah, too quick, exactly.
Yes.
And that's exactly a sign of the potential that you can go really, really far. Yet you decided to stop when you got to the biggest stage in the life as a bodybuilder.
That was a sign of that had a good potential, but
Yeah.
on the other side, the problem is the adaptation of your body with this speed is sometimes problematic, because even if you have more muscle, you have all the organs, you have all the bones, the joints. It needs also a certain time of adaptation, and sometimes the time of adaptation is not the same as the speed of your growth, you know. So that's probably a part of my decision to stop bodybuilding.
Because you started feeling that something was wrong on your body.
I started to see some sign, yeah.
And did you get scared?
Yes,
Yeah.
I love life.
Yes, of
So
course.
I knew there was something wrong, yeah.
But did you, at one point, did you like associate your feelings or your symptoms with
Yes.
death?
Yes.
Really?
Because I know that sport and I know how dangerous it can be, so I'm not stupid. So
Yeah.
when I started to have the first symptoms, I was, yeah, okay, I know what's happening. Just needed to have a confirmation from doctors, because the story is, to be totally transparent, I had some heart issue, and I started to have some pressure in my chest. That was after the Olympia, a few months after. And I'm not stupid. When I started to feel this, I was 26, 27 at that time. That's not something you have to feel when you're 26, 27 years old. So, and I had some tachycardia, I had some arrhythmia, many different problems like this. So,
Like you measured your heart rate and you saw that it was too
I
high.
didn't need to measure it. I had to go straight to the hospital.
Really?
Yeah.
And you didn't think that it was probably like anxiety or something like that?
No.
It
I'm not stupid. I know
Yeah.
I did the Olympia. I was like 115 kilos for 165 centimeters. That's not even human.
No. That's,
So
that's
I
crazy.
knew that was part of the problems. So I'm not stupid. I just needed to go to the emergency because I needed the help of from doctors, and I needed to have a confirmation, of course. And that's where the huge, I would say, the most difficult period of my career appears, I would say.
Yeah, but you talk about it as if you had it several times. Like,
Yeah.
did you keep going for a little bit to see if it was going to go away by itself?
I had one episode of tachycardia one night.
Yeah.
At the hospital, they managed to keep it under control, I would say.
Okay.
But I was not feeling good because I had some heart insufficiency at that time.
How do they keep it under control?
Because they did some, it's hard to explain in English, but when you have tachycardia, there's a way to stop the tachycardia by moving the chest and so playing with the pressure.
Okay.
And they managed to reduce the tachycardia doing this. The problem is the day after I had again, and that was stronger. And they had to put some product in the veins to stop the heart. And that was a bit very scary, actually, to be honest. And they managed again to do it, but I was not good, clearly not good at all at that time. So that's where I really realized that I had to change something. Yeah.
So it was like basically the second time you got it, one day after the first time, you went through that experience and you said, okay, I'm going to take a break. Or how was your decision process?
Yes and no.
Okay.
On that, when this happened, of course, you're a human being, and we are all connected with one point: is the ability, or life. Everyone is trying to stay alive, no matter the situation.
Yeah.
So at that time, I was like, okay, stop. That's it, finish. But after that, again, I started to get better. I started to go to the gym again, and after a few months I wanted to compete again. So I tried in a different way, with a different process, different mentality.
What changed?
The process with the diet, the fact to be not as heavy as before, many things like this, many different parameters, I would say. And I did it, but then I realized that my heart was over, because once I started to gain weight again, my heart was not working again, and I feel it immediately. And at that time, when it happened, that was clear in my mind. I said, "That's it, stop," because in my mind, I was either I was doing bodybuilding at the pro level and at the Olympia, or I'm not doing it. And if I'm not able to compete at the Olympia, I stopped. So because I don't want to. That sounds maybe pretentious, but if I'm able to do the Olympia, I want to do the Olympia. I don't want to do a lower level.
And to be honest, I think it's very logical. I mean, as I said before, if you're going to put everything you got, you have to have a big objective. You cannot have an objective that is in the middle, right? No. So why would you go for an objective that is in the middle if you can't put everything you've got in there? You're not going to be able to express yourself as you could.
And the thing is, if you compete and you do, I don't know, only the national level without being a professional anymore, you still take a risk for your life.
Yeah.
So that was absolutely...
You were not safe by competing halfway there.
Yeah, so either I was taking risk, but because I can be one of the best bodybuilder of all time, or I'm not doing it, because that doesn't make sense to keep doing it, even for the passion.
Yeah.
So that's why I said, no, that's it, I stopped.
Yeah, for me, I think it's pretty obvious and pretty logical that if you felt what you felt with your heart, and you either had to keep going with that or quit, it's very obvious to quit, because otherwise if that happens to you, that if you're at the hospital where they have to connect you to put some things in your vein and you feel that you're going to die, how is it possible that you continue? It's not possible. I mean, you're going to die at one point, no?
Yes and no.
Because
I totally agree with your the way you say the things, and it's very logical. The problem in this situation is that it's an addiction.
You think it's an addiction or an obsession?
It's an addiction.
Okay.
Addiction.
What's the difference between both? you would say?
Addiction is, it's very clear. It's not only for bodybuilding. If you ask to someone who drink 3 bottles of wine per day, he's gonna say, I'm only drinking 3 bottles of wine per day. So
Yeah.
it sounds like normal for him. So it sounds normal for someone who's doing bodybuilding to do something dangerous and
Yeah.
to do something with risk. And he gonna say, oh, that's not that serious or dangerous.
Yeah.
That's the common part of every addiction. Yeah.
How-
And I was into this. Yeah.
And when you're into that, at that point, I think it's very easy to talk about it from outside when you have a distance to it.
Yeah.
But when you are there, it is very, very difficult. You need help from somebody, right?
You
Or-
need help and time. I think the time, yes, that's the best help that you can have, because if you don't want to accept it, nobody is going to help you to accept it. Even if you hear the same sentence every day.
Yeah.
There's a moment then where your brain, your own brain, has to click
Yeah.
and say that's the change.
It's
But nobody can really help you. Yeah.
It's like the people that do alpinism that, for example, want to go to the top of the Everest. There's a moment where you can be 100 meters away, but you have to go back because the weather conditions change or whatever, or maybe because you're not getting enough oxygen. And that's why normally people go with guides, because the guides are trained to see when you have symptoms that you don't have enough oxygenation, and they ask you to go back. And many of them, they don't want to go back because they see that the goal is too close, and if you ignore the guides, you can die.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same. You're so focused on your objective that you stop listening to the other signs, because it's part of the nature of the sport, right? You're ignoring all the signs that are telling you stop, it's painful, because you are focused towards an objective. And here what you have to do is to understand that these signs are not pain, but it's like a really, really big warning. And at this point in time when you were there, I wonder, how were you able to stop and say, okay, I am going to this is an addiction now. I'm not gonna keep going. This is putting my life at risk, and I'm going to take a step back from it.
I'm very close with my mom, very close to my mom.
Okay.
And she followed every show that I did in my life. And the first thing I said to my mom, I remember, before the first competition, I said, listen, I'm gonna compete. I will go as far as I can. But the day I have a health issue, I'm gonna stop. And I just wanted to keep my promise. And that's what I did. That was hard to give up. And I remember, because she even cried when I said, okay, I'm gonna stop, because she was shared between the fact that she knew that that was my whole life to competing. And on the other side, she was also happy, and she felt less worried knowing that I was not going to take any risk anymore as before. But I did this not only for my mom, because that was also for my own health, but I did also this for respecting the promise that I did to my mom. And to be honest with you, even if that was my passion, I love life. I'm not ready to take any risk for my life, because I love too much living. There's so many things to do in life, even if sometimes it's very hard to understand it. And you're like in front of a wall because you cannot see anything else. But I know that with time, you will see the good things, no matter what. And I knew at that time too, even if that was like not easy. But I knew that with time, I will be able to find something different that really helped me to wake up in the morning.
Of course. But at the beginning, you don't have any time. So I guess it's painful to take a decision like that.
That's, honestly, that's the most difficult thing I did in my whole career. That was not even to diet, to do the Olympia, whatever. That was to take this decision. Yes. Because you need to find a way to define yourself again. Because the problem that I had, and I was scared of this, is that people at that time, they knew me as Nico the bodybuilder. Even if I was not considering myself like this, people like Nicolas, the bodybuilder, yes, I know him. Yeah, because I was the bodybuilder, you know. And now I'm not the bodybuilder anymore, so who I am. And that was actually the toughest part, because I was scared that I was actually nobody outside of bodybuilding. And finally, I just saw that I was able to give something more than just my physique, and I'm happy with that. But it takes time. Yeah, it takes time.
I know that now you have been able to rebuild your identity out of the Nico the bodybuilder.
Yeah.
But at that point, how do you start to build another identity? How do you rebuild yourself?
Something changed my life after a few months when I got the heart issue is that I was in touch with an athlete, female athlete. She was competing as a professional athlete also. She was from Mexico.
Oh.
And that's where
Beautiful country.
That's where all the Mexico part appears. At that time, she knew I was not going well. And one day I remember she texted me and she said, listen, I know you know well. What I can suggest you is to come to Mexico. Come to Mexico City. And we organize a huge camp with people. We do seminars and we do things like this. I was,
So
like
nice.
not even motivated. I remember I prepped absolutely nothing when I went there. But I said, okay, let's go. I went there, and I remember the way Mexican people welcomed me. That's where actually I understood that I was more than just a bodybuilder. And because nobody said anything about my health. Everyone knew it, but nobody said anything. I lost a lot of kilos at that time. Nobody said anything about this, like, oh, you dropped a lot of weight, what happened? Nobody. Everyone was like, oh, I respect your what you did, your career. I had this question for training and this changed my mentality. I came back home and I remember even my mom, she said, I don't know what happened, but something changed in your mind. Because when I came back home in Switzerland, I started to work again because I was not working a lot. I was canceling all my clients. I was terrible.
Because you were a coach?
Yeah, I was coaching, yeah. But I was calling clients like, I cannot today, finding excuses, And this changed because I came back and then I said, okay, now I have to do something. So Mexico really changed me. And since that time, I go every year. I'll go minimum once a year into Mexico.
And do you think it was the main thing why this trip changed you is because people stopped associating you with a bodybuilder and they were not asking questions about your physique?
Is it only this? I don't know.
Or
Maybe
like
there was this plus the right time, plus I was ready in my mind to change, plus many different aspects. But this happened at this time. If I was in Colombia, maybe that would be Colombia. I don't know. But that was Mexico. So that's why I have very nice connection with this country. Yeah.
What I wanted to highlight there is that it's our environment also the one that defines us.
Yeah.
It's just the question that I asked before, like, do you think that it's only a decision to be a Mr. Olympia or is it also genetics? There are so many things that are beyond our control and that are affecting us, but we like to think that it's our will and our decision and that we have the control of whatever we want to happen. But in reality, in this case, changing your environment and looking at a different perspective of who you are was probably something that helped you come back with a different mindset. No?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And from there, when you came back, what did you start? What was your new objective? What did you start doing?
Well, I didn't come back like a new person, like, oh yeah, everything is going well now. No, but
it helped you process.
That was the first step of my recovery, really. Yeah. And the first step was just started to work again as before, doing my clients, even if sometimes I was not motivated, but no, I was doing it every day again. I was finding back this ethic work that I had before. And I started to keep doing this, and then I started to travel a bit more, finding to have more, I would say, inner peace, and that's how things started to build itself. Yeah.
During this process, were there moments where your mind started asking you, Nicolas, do you want to go back to bodybuilding?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I would lie if I say it's not right, but of course. But on the other side, I was also clear in my mind, which means that I missed doing bodybuilding, but I knew I will not compete again. That was very clear in my mind. I will never change, even if sometimes, yes, I still love bodybuilding. I still love probably competing, but that was clear. My decision is this, I will not change.
And the voice is still there, like, or it's more a question. Do you think that this voice is still there where you ask yourself, do you want to compete again or not?
No.
Or is the voice gone?
No, it's finished.
Okay.
No. Now it's very clear. I do something different. I have a business. I work online, and I'm really focused on this now. So it's very clear. Even if I go to show, because I have some athletes that I prep.
Yeah.
I go there. I'm still happy with the process, but I'm seated watching people competing, and I'm okay. It's not even. I don't feel any special, I would say, emotions or like being sad or no. I just do that as a work, as a job, and that's it. Because that's clear in my mind.
I guess that the moment where you could have more, you could be a bit more connected to the moment when you were a bodybuilder is when you work out. Because when you were working out, when you were competing, I guess it was like automatic pilot, right? Like you were in beast mode and you were lifting and doing all this, going through all this pain, which is also pleasurable pain, I would say, in some, from a specific angle, I think it brings pleasure at the same time.
Yeah, of course.
When you work out now, what is the change in the focus of your workouts?
I have accepted the fact that I'm not an athlete anymore. I'm a normal person. So maybe I still have some volume physically compared to someone, but I'm not an athlete anymore. I'm not looking to be massive. Very often people, they ask me, oh, but what is your goal now? What's the weight you want to reach? And I'm like, listen, I've been like 115 kilos a few years ago. I'm not looking for anything. Yeah. I just want to look good because that's still like a passion, but I want to be functional. Yeah. So because today I run every morning at 6 a.m. I go to run for 30-45 minutes. I try to be more, I would say, to have more endurance, more cardio, more still strength, but I want to be more complete. That's what I'm looking for, because now my perception of life is that I want to be in the long term, you know, and not only
longevity.
Yes, for longevity. Yeah.
You focus more on longevity than on building muscle,
and that's enough to push me to go to train. Yeah.
Endurance can bring longevity, but what about the weights? How do you do weights now?
I still lift heavy because I like it. That's my passion. Yeah. And on the other side, I don't lift as before, of course. Yeah. But lifting heavy is shown by many studies that it's something really good for the longevity. Yeah. So that's that don't really change compared to before. I would say just that I don't lift the same weight. Yeah. I don't take. I would say maybe before I was training like an hour and 30 minutes, sometimes 2 hours. Today I do 45 minutes, an hour, and that's it.
45 minutes of weights.
Yeah.
And 45 minutes of running, or 30 minutes?
Yeah, running. 30 minutes usually.
Okay, so you train around an hour and 15, an hour and 30 minutes every day?
Yeah, I mean, I try to have my 10, 15K steps per day, and that's okay. Good. Yeah.
And if you don't reach the minimum amount of steps, do you go out for a walk at night?
I don't know. Usually with the job here, I do between 12 and 15K steps per day.
Okay.
Yeah.
And right now that we're talking about the training routine, I also wanted to ask you, how did you organize your day in the old days when you were bodybuilding? Like cardio in the morning or?
Depends on the part.
Yeah, because it's a cycle, right? Yeah. And you have different components within the training cycle.
Well, the one I remember well, that was when I was at the Olympia in Vegas.
Okay.
Because I was doing only this. So I was doing cardio in the morning. I had like 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Then I was coming back. Then I had my first training, weight training at 10, 11 a.m.
Did you have breakfast between these two?
Yeah, I was eating between the workouts.
So you did the cardio fasted?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. To burn all the fat, I guess.
At that time, I thought yes, but today the studies show me that it's totally doesn't really change actually.
And you were a professional bodybuilder at the top level. Yep. And that is a proof that many of the things that we do are beliefs, but not reality. But
the difference is that when I was competing, I was that was not being a coach was not like my job as today. Today I read way more things. I went to see seminars and things like this. So the knowledge that I have today are clearly not the same as before. And I'm happy actually, because to be honest, there are many things I probably didn't do at that time, knowing that was not working actually. So. Yeah. That's what you need to be a bit naive sometimes when you compete, because sometimes it's better to be like a robot and follow the instructions without thinking.
And also, I mean, the focus can create some tension between some theories and some methods. Like for example, if your goal is to increase performance, to build muscle, you're probably going to do things that are not good for longevity. And if you knew those things when you were training for performance, that could create a bit of mental friction, right? Because you're saying like, oh yeah, I want to grow my muscle, but I know that I'm affecting my health.
But you know what? I like to listen to a lot of successful entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And all the common things they say is that if you already know how hard it's going to be, you don't do it. So, and that's what makes the difference between an entrepreneur or a sport athlete, is that the person is doing it because he doesn't really know how hard it's going to be, but he does it. And I think it's all the point with bodybuilding as well.
And on the way, I guess that the difficulty is going to reveal who you are yourself, right? Because that's going to reveal the way you solve the issues, or the way how hard you can push yourself as well. So in the morning, you were going back to your routine. In the morning, you were doing the 45 minutes of cardio, breakfast, and then 2 hours of training?
Or maybe I had like 2 meals before the workout. I don't really remember. So I had the first workout, then I was coming back. I was trying to take a nap, something like this. I had another workout around 4 or 5 p.m., something like this. Coming back again, and then I had one last cardio workout around 10 p.m., something like this.
Oh my God.
I was doing this 4 times. Yeah, I had like 4 workouts, if I can say, per day.
And mentally, you're always at the gym, right?
That was easy, yeah. that was easy mentally, actually.
Why?
Yeah, because I was waking up and I was like, I compete for the Olympia.
Yeah.
You know that you're in the top 5, top 20 athletes in the world. So it's super easy to have motivation. I could do more. Honestly, if my coach was like, oh, you need to work out 4 times per day and 2 cardio sessions, I would be like, oh yeah, I'll do it. Yeah. It's super easy at that time, because you feel hyped by the context.
You have a big enough goal.
Yes.
To be able to wake up every morning.
Actually, I was on the opposite situation. Like my coach was trying to control me, like, because oh no, you do too much, relax.
Yeah, and that's another very important point that I wanted to listen to your opinion. Recovery. When there was somebody at a gym that worked at reception, and sometimes I would have a discussion with him in another fitness. And he told me, when you are working out, you're actually destroying the muscle. The muscle is rebuilding and it's reconstructing itself when you are doing recovery, right? Yeah. How important was recovery to you during this period?
But of course, very important. But the thing is, I was sleeping probably 8-10 hours per day, because that was my job. I was doing only this. Today I sleep like 5 hours, 4 or 5 hours, so it's not the same. But at that time I was paid by the sponsors when I was in Vegas. So that was literally my job. I was waking up and I was like, my job is to go to train. That's it. No work, no job, nothing, no coaching. So it's easy.
Did you have any, sorry.
No, it's fine.
Did you have any methods to recover, or you were just relaxing at home and going to bed? Yeah.
Nap.
Taking your supplements, I guess.
Honestly, I was just working out, sleeping, eating. That's it. That's the typical picture that we have from bodybuilding, but that's really the truth.
And were you happy doing that?
Yes.
Really?
Of course.
Do you think it's been one of the happiest moments of your life?
I had one of the freakiest physique ever in my life. I was in Vegas. The sun is like pretty much there every day, 40 degrees. You paid by the sponsors. And the only thing you have to do is to lift the barbell. That's super. That's a really cool life.
Yeah, which could be also the thing that makes it difficult. It makes it more difficult to quit this lifestyle,
Yeah.
right? Because it's so good
yeah.
that
When you get used to it, it's hard to give up on this.
yeah,
And to get back and have a normal life, like a job that you have, where you have to work.
absolutely.
And it's not as easy to organize yourself with the meals and so. So obviously, yes. Yeah.
And also in terms of nutrition, do you still follow all the guidelines that you were following when you were in bodybuilding, but of course more moderate?
With way more flexibility.
Okay.
I don't weight anything anymore.
Okay.
No, I know based on my own experience, I know if I'm too much or too low in terms of calories. I know if I have enough protein. I see it on my physique. I see it on my performance when I train. So I can feel it very easy now. I know my body very well. So
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And how long did the cycles last? Like, for example, if you had Mr. Olympia, when is Mr. Olympia? In October? Or?
Yeah, October, September.
Yeah. I guess you prepare. I mean, something that not everybody knows is that you're not training nonstop when you begin your career and you end when you're retired. You have cycles, right?
Exactly.
Where you are training and then you have a period where you're on vacation.
Yeah.
And because it's not sustainable to stay at that level
exactly.
for such a long time. How long did your cycle until the main competition last?
Usually I was doing like a bulking period that was around 4 or 5 months.
Okay.
And then I had every time 4 months of cutting diet. And then I was doing the show, and I was lucky because usually I was reaching the goal. So then after that, I had like 2-3 months off, which means that I was not, I was training, but not as intense as before.
Okay.
I was reducing the amount of calories and yeah. So
Okay.
I was doing 2-3 months like this. Yeah.
There's a component of diet that is very important in endurance sports, which is fat. Because fat is a source of energy that you can use for the long term.
Yes.
And carbs is more for the short term explosivity. And well, it's what is it called? ITP is a way to measure the
ATP. Yeah.
Yeah, but then creatine is the one that allows you to be very explosive.
Yeah, creatine helps you for the anaerobic efforts.
Yes.
So that's usually what you do when you lift weights in the gym. I mean, it's a kind of alternating phase between the anaerobic phase and aerobic lactic phase.
Okay.
So it's like it's switching all the time when you do the effort.
Yeah.
But that's where the creatine appears because it plays a huge role for the stock of ATP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I see it as if the more explosiveness, the more you use creatine,
Yes.
and then
because you don't breathe actually.
Yeah. And then you go into the glucose, right?
Yes.
Or glycogen.
Yeah.
And then you go into the fat, which is
well, fat actually is used pretty much all the time because that's something you use when you don't do effort.
But the ratio changes
Yes.
depending on the intensity.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
That's why you stayed, I guess, at a certain heart rate for a long time when you were doing cardio.
Yeah.
No? And right now, are you taking supplementation like creatine? No.
The only one I take is vitamin D3 because there's no sun over here.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
that's the only thing you take.
Yeah, cream of rice, but I don't really consider it like as a supplement because it's like a substitute for a meal.
Okay.
And maybe protein, like whey protein, but
Yeah.
otherwise I don't take any other supplements. So.
Wow. Okay. No. I thought you were going to take more, but
I'm the worst. I'm the worst enemy of supplements companies. Yeah.
Why?
Because I think it's overrated for most of the supplements. Yeah, all the supplements that we have here is the one that I believe is really useful.
Yeah.
But the rest, to me, is like useless, in my opinion.
It's like expensive pee if you.
Yeah, it's actually the balance between how much it costs and what can you get as if it's really beneficial or not.
Yeah.
And that's this balance, in my opinion, sometimes is not very interesting. So it's, in my opinion, way better to spend your money on a good food or bio food or organic food, depends on where you are.
And be consistent with training, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no miracle. Like it's very simple to being healthy, to stay in good shape is actually very simple in terms of theory. You know? You don't need to do many things.
Yeah. Okay, and I also wanted, I mean, I'm very curious of all your experience when you were doing the Mr. Olympia. I also wanted to ask you a few other practical things on the moment when you were training. One of the things that I wanted to know is, I guess, I mean, I went on exchange to Denmark and I lived with a bodybuilder, but he did only, I think he competed only once at amateur level. He won his first competition. It was pretty cool seeing it. But I remember the last weeks when he was reducing the amount of fat that he had on his body, he was even complaining of tying his shoes because of the energy that he was very tired all the time.
Yeah.
Did you have like a mental strategy for that, or was the Mr. Olympia enough to go through all of that?
For the Olympia, I remember that was easy. Again, to be honest, that was easy. Sound pretentious, but that was super easy.
Yeah.
But I had other preparation before, and of course, I remember some preparation where I was like clearly not open to talk. So sometimes I remember the first show that I did, I was really not someone sympathetic, really not. I was the kind of person who was like, "Don't talk to me," like
Why?
straight. Yeah, because I was tired.
Okay.
And today, I have more. And now when I see this situation, I'm like, I'm responsible of this, so I cannot put this on someone, especially if this person is not responsible of the choice that you made. So that's not a good behavior. You need to assume the fact that you choose to be in that situation. So if you get tired, okay, you're tired.
Yeah.
But be polite with people and maybe stay in your bubble.
Yeah.
But you need to behave properly.
Yeah. But it's crazy to think that you're so tired that you can't even talk to someone, right? Because it takes energy.
When you hunger is really, you can do 10, 20, 30 preparations. You will never get used to hunger. Never. Because it's something very tough.
Yeah.
The only thing you get used to it is that you prep your, I would say, brain, you prep your mindset more in that situation, so you resist more, but you still get tired, you still get a bit more angry. So this is something that is there all the time. Yeah. Did
you have like a mantra or something that you would repeat when you felt tired or you didn't want to do something? I'm guessing when you went to Mr. Olympia, you didn't need that, but before in the early days when you were getting started.
But I had no strategy. To be honest, again, I will sound pretentious, but I was a monster in my mind. Like I was able to support anything. Yeah. Even my coach, sometimes he was like, "I'm gonna reduce a bit the calories. Is it okay?" And I'm like, "Give me bamboo and a chair to eat. I'm gonna do it." Yeah, I knew what I wanted. I wanted to win, so I was able to do anything to win. Yeah. So that was actually easy in the sense that I'm gonna do it no matter what. Yeah, the support, of course, it's hard, but I do it. I don't complain.
Oh man, that's crazy. Yeah. It almost seems as if your mind was stronger than your body.
Yes. Yeah.
Where did you think you got that mental strength from?
Because I think the passion that I had for that was really high, and again, I knew after when I was professional, I knew that I was good. I knew I was good for the pro level. So that really helps me to push my confidence, my self-confidence, and that really put more, I would say, ethic work again. So that's why I was like, I never put my finger in the sauce, like not even 1 gram was 1 gram, not more, not less. Yeah.
When it's sometimes I am the same myself, but I feel that it almost feels as if that side that takes you to your goal and becomes like a monster, it's very enjoyable when you get to the objectives. But at the same time, it could be tyrannic in the everyday life. At least on my side. Sometimes I had to take a break from that side of me. Do you feel the same, or?
I think really? It depends on the context and also on your personality. to be honest, someone that is extremely strict, who has like a family or and doesn't have any flexibility, maybe it's not worth it. I would say you can still think about it. But if I take my situation, I was again competing for being one of the best athletes in the world. So you cannot put 1% of doubt on something or on your approach. You know, my worry was to finish a preparation at the second place, for instance, and be like, oh, I didn't do that at that time. Maybe if I was doing it, maybe the result would be different. So that's why I was extremely strict, because I know that if I was second, it's because I was second. There's no debate.
Yeah.
Like I was not the best that day, and I couldn't do more because I was doing more at that time. So, but the context was very special.
Yeah.
Today, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I think we can be way more flexible with ourselves. It's still good to have like ethic work, of course, but you need to see what you can get from this actually.
So you actually think that you can unleash that side of you when you want, but it's not there all the time.
Not all the time.
It's not there all the time.
No, and to be honest with you, if today you tell me you can come back and train and be again the athlete you are, I think I will not be able to find back the same hunger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because maybe there's the time, maybe there's different parameters, but and also because right now my mind is on a different side and is focused on something different.
And you also know your limits, right? When you began, you didn't know how far you could go, and you went as far as you could.
Yeah.
And you saw that you could keep going, but your body couldn't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And if you do that now, it's going to be even worse because time has passed.
Yeah.
So the context is completely different, but you were able to see this side of yourself. And you can, I mean, if you're able to unleash this side of you for whatever objective you have, I think there is no bigger tool than that one in life. When you're able to get as disciplined as that to achieve what you want. Yeah. But it can also, you also, at least in my opinion, what I have experienced, this other side can also become a bit tyrannic because every single thing can become an objective, and then you trigger or you release all your strength to go that way, but it's not as valuable as to the first objective, no? Yeah. Or you have to identify when you have to release or not. Yeah. Did you have any activities to release all this pressure that you were putting yourself, or?
No, because at that time I had no space and time for something else than bodybuilding. I was doing this 100%, and that's the reason why that was hard when I stopped, because that was representing like 90% of my day. So when you have to wake up and sit, and then you're like, oh, what I'm gonna do now, because that was like 90% of my day. So I don't know what I'm gonna do in my day now. Yeah. So that part was actually extremely hard. Yeah. So, but actually that's a regret, because I think it's not good to stay too much in a bubble. Yeah. I think it's very good and healthy to keep something different or that can separate the bodybuilding part, and also maybe something artistic, or if you play like music or whatever. That's nice to have another passion out of this.
What is yours?
I had no actually, but today I can say traveling. I can say I like astronomy. I like aviation. I don't know how you say it.
Aviation.
Yeah. I have a lot of different passion for those things. Yeah.
Like, do you fly airplanes?
I like to. I watch like every TV show or everything on a crash accident and stuff like this.
Crash accident.
Yes, I have a huge passion for that.
Why?
Yeah. I don't know. Like I think the planes are one of the most incredible things that the human being has made. I said
the same thing to my friends.
I have absolutely no knowledge, like specific knowledge, but I'm always like I admired when I'm at the airport. Every time I'm like a kid. I travel a lot.
Yeah.
But every time I feel like grateful to be able to see this. Yeah.
We take it for granted, but airplanes have been here for a very small amount of time, right?
I think the speed of development through the years is absolutely crazy. The last 50, 40 years, yeah.
And now we're even looking at rockets.
it's crazy. And even like when they made the Concorde,
Yeah.
that was like you fly, you cross the ocean at 4 hours.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, one of the persons that I interviewed told me that he would take the Concorde from Paris to New York.
I had a client.
Oh, you had a client?
Yeah, I had a client who was taking the Concorde because he was working in a bank in New York, and he told me that was a privilege to
Yeah. It was in service for a very small amount of time, no?
Yeah, because it was too expensive
Yeah.
for the at that time.
It was not profitable.
No. But he told me like he was leaving at a certain time and then he was in New York even earlier than the time he left actually.
Yeah.
And he said it's absolutely, it's crazy.
Yeah. I remember the one of my guests, Alberto Morillas, a perfumer, he told me that the cool thing about that was that he could wake up in his house in Paris, go to New York to a meeting, and then come back and sleep in his house again. Which is it's crazy, no?
Yeah.
And you also like astronomy, you said? The stars and all of that?
I love this.
You watch documentaries about all of that
Everything
as well?
I can find, I watch.
Yeah, I think I really like that as well.
Yeah.
We're such a small...
That's this idea that I like. We feel like totally not like nothing compared to the immensity of... it's crazy.
When you start measuring the distance to different points in space and you hear the millions of light years, you're like...
That's what I like because your human brain is not able to understand this because we live at a certain scale. And so we understand this scale and the astronomy is just actually not the scale that the human brain is just not understanding.
Yeah, and I think it's as fascinating to go in the quantum level, to go the opposite side, and also go into the small, the smaller you can go. Did you watch the movie of Interstellar?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, did you like it?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, it's nice. It's a well done movie. Yeah.
What do you think about the perception of time changing and all of that?
That's what I like actually.
Yeah,
that's just to see how complicated it is.
Yeah.
And I like the message behind of the movie.
Yeah, me too. It's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, I like it too.
And then you also say that you like traveling a lot. You don't get scared with all the accidents that you watch on videos?
Yeah, that can. I understand this question, but no, really, because I know the fact that I watch so many movies and stuff on the planes. I know how safe it is also, and I know what they have to do, the process and everything. I have also a few clients that I know. I have one client who is a pilot. And he explained me also how it works, and that's extremely strict. I have people they have no idea how strict it is.
Yeah.
So it's very, very. There's a lot of protocols, and that's the reason why I feel pretty good when I travel.
It's more likely to have a car accident than a plane accident.
Yeah, actually yes. Yeah.
And do you have any trips coming up soon?
I have a holiday end of January, so I have to find the destination actually because I didn't fix it yet. But
what kind of places you like to visit? Sun, beach, or you also like going to the north?
I would like to visit Asia because that's one of the only part of the world I've never really visited. So I would like to go there.
Where would you like to go?
Well, it depends. Thailand, Vietnam.
Yeah.
Japan I would like to try, but you need to organize yourself earlier, I would say, in advance. Yeah.
Why?
Because I know that the culture there is that you need to do a reservation pretty early. You cannot go there and then decide on the moment, okay, I'm going there. Because I'm this kind of person when I travel. I like to go somewhere, I don't plan anything. Yeah. I wake up and I decide where I'm going today. So.
It's a completely different experience, no? When you don't plan anything.
Yeah, because I like the fact to be, I feel more free when I do that.
Yeah.
Because if I don't want to do anything one day, I just don't do anything and that's it, and that's fine. And I like to travel alone by myself. Yeah.
Yeah. You like to travel alone by yourself?
I love this.
And do you go? How do you find the gyms when you go traveling?
I do my research. I take a lot of time to do that.
Oh, really?
Check the Airbnb. I check all the comments and everything. I do comparison with my phone, with my iPad, with my computer, and same for the flights. And then I check the place, if there's a shop, if there's a gym near from I'm very, very, very crazy with that.
And I heard in one interview that you actually there's people that write to you wherever you go and that they tell you want to go for a workout.
Yeah, I had a different experience like this. I remember a few years ago, I went to Greece in Crete, and I have absolutely no connection there. But I was there, and I was visiting some parts. And one day, a guy sent me a message on social media, and he said, "Oh, listen, I saw you're in Greece. You're very close to my place. I have a gym. That would be nice if you come and train with me." And then I said, "Okay, I'm there exactly for that." So I went there. I went to see the guy. We had a workout together, and the same day he told me, "Oh, my wife, she has a restaurant, so you have to go and see her." And so then I went to the restaurant. I saw his wife. I started to talk to her, and that's the kind of holiday that I like, when I don't plan anything.
That's so cool that you can do that. You can go to the other side of the world, and you can do your passion with other people.
Yeah, Mexico, I have a lot of people. I had also, even in Spain, I had some people in the street. They stopped me, and I was actually like, how can you know me? Like, it's bodybuilding is very small. That's a small world. So, but that feel nice. That feel nice. But yeah, Spain, Turkey also. I did Mexico, a few people. Yeah, so no, that's nice experiences.
That's fantastic. I wanted to ask you one last question before closing, related to I started watching bodybuilding because of Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think he's like my number one icon in that world, because he changed the game in a very profound way. And I just wanted to ask you, who is one of your like main inspirations in that world?
That sounds maybe strange, but I'm gonna say my coach, Patrick, because he has been a professional before.
Yeah.
I mean, I like his all what he did during his career, because he was a professional bodybuilder. He went to school in Switzerland. He studied biology. So he has a lot of knowledge, also in chemistry. So he had a lot of knowledge. He speaks like 6, 7 different languages.
Wow.
That's the reason why I wanted to learn a lot of languages. He was a good professional bodybuilder, and now he's one of the best coach in the world right now in the bodybuilding world. So that's an inspiration for me, because he worked a lot, and I'm not saying I want to have the same palmarès as him, but that's a nice inspiration. Yeah.
I think that's a real privilege to be able to have someone like that next to you, like a coach like that inspires you, that motivates you, and that you really admire. I think not everyone gets to be as close to someone like that as you are to him.
No, and the thing is, we had a very close relationship, because he was from Switzerland, I was from Switzerland. He was coaching many athletes all around the world. And he was like my father, and I feel like I was like his little son or something like this. And there was like a mutual respect.
Yeah.
I knew like pretty much his whole life at that time. But every time we were sitting on the table, around the table, and we were talking about bodybuilding, he was the boss. Like there was like, he was
Hierarchy.
on the top of the pyramid. So I was listening. And we had this mutual and natural respect.
Yeah.
Everyone knows the role that he had at that time. That's also the reason why it really worked. And I never changed my coach, and I'm happy about this. And that's probably part of the success too, because after 10 years of coaching, you know your athletes, obviously. So it's easier than when you change 10 or 15 times the coach, because you need to start again all the process to understand how the body works, and that's the reason why I think we managed to click very well.
Yeah, I think that trust is a key component there, because if you have the trust, that removes a lot of weight from your shoulders, because you stop asking yourself questions, am I with the right person or not? And when you fully trust the other person, you just execute, follow what that person says, and that's when you see the progression, right?
Yeah, and I was like, he was telling me something, and I was like, okay, I do it. I don't doubt.
Yeah.
And if we got wrong, we got wrong.
Yeah.
Not him.
Team
that's
job.
a teamwork. Yeah. So that's why, we were like two responsible person. And when something was not good, we were talking, and we were trying to change the situation for the next preparation.
That's fantastic. That's I'm sure that's one of the key elements
Probably,
to the success that you had.
I think so.
Okay, well, Thank you so much, Nicolas, for sharing your story. It was amazing. Thank you so much for opening up.
Yeah.
It's impressive what you went through, and I think the decision to get out of there, it's a really, really, at least I admire a lot that you did the decision. And as you can see, this opened the door for a new opportunity, which is Elevate Fitness. And I really want to thank you for bringing this gym to us, because I really feel, I think is the best one that we have.
Thank you. I want to insist on this because Nicolas, who you know also, he's the main guy. He's the brain of the Elevate construction, I would say. And Michelle, his wife, is also has a huge part of the success of the gym.
Yeah.
And I'm part of it, of course, but I don't like to sound like that's my gym.
Yeah.
That's their gym first, and I'm part of it, of course, and I'm happy. But I want to mention it. So.
Yeah, I think you guys are doing a great job. Thank you so much for bringing it to us, and I'm very excited to see the growth and also the personal joy that is bringing you all doing all of this together. It's very exciting to feel the energy every time that I come to the gym. I can feel the energy and the good vibes from all of you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Nicolas. Thanks.
Thank you.